couple of them could be a bit stronger. Our cameras that we had raindrops on not too long ago already dry, so that's the type of rain that we're watching for the rest of the day today. Straight shower tomorrow, looking really, really nice for Wednesday. Lower humidity, maybe a shower. Better chance for rain comes Thursday into Friday. And Denise, Saturday, Sunday, Mother's Day weekend, mid to upper 70s, sunshine.
That's the only gift you need to give your mother, Rochelle. No need to spend any money.
If you're watching, Mom.
Friday this noon, the Baltimore City teacher got a surprise when he came to work this morning.
Baltimore City Public School 2025.
That is Jevons Liu. He is a math and special education teacher at the Academy for College and Career Exploration. Mr. Liu will receive a cash award, classroom supplies, and other learning resources, and he will now represent the city in the Maryland State Teacher of the Year competition. Good teacher. All right.
Paramount Plus has all your soon-to-be favorite entertainment in one place.
Rain 20%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy through 2 a.m., then becoming mostly cloudy. Lows in the mid-50s. West winds around 5.
You love, featuring an epic year for the best international league and tournament, Olympic sports, and so much more. This 2025 on beIN Sports Extra. More sports, more excitement. Always free, 24/7.
He's been found out and he's now going to come to justice.
The stories behind the crimes.
Would he have committed the murder if it were not for social media? The evidence suggested that it was premeditated.
And the people behind the stories.
It's just a joy.
He offered her love and gave her death.
All day, it was a gruesome scene. Every day.
What did he do? What did he do to her?
On your free destination for true crime.
Calling all Tyler Perry fans.
This is gonna be fun.
Your favorite hit dramas in one place, 24/7.
Wait, what?
It's a wild ride.
On BET, Tyler Perry Drama.
Step into the world of diverse K-content. K-dramas. K-pop performances. Reality shows. Only here. Only the best about K-content by CJNM.
We're changing things up on you a little bit. We're going to start off in the South Central. We've got lots of strong and severe thunderstorms, lots of weather activity across this region. Here's the video from Dayton, Texas. This was on Monday. This is just north of the Houston metro area. And another video from Hubbard Creek Lake in Texas. You can see those hailstones falling. We've had significant hail reports and golf ball size hail being reported across the state, and that's going to continue throughout the day today, and that's one of the biggest threats and impacts from the storms we've already started to see this morning and into the start of the day. So more hail will be possible. Temperature-wise, we're a little cooler So temperatures trending a little below average, and we do have a ton of moisture though. So you're kind of like, wait, we're getting the storms that are fueled by heat, but we're cooler. It's because of the rain that we've had over the last several hours. Now, we do have that widespread flood potential that is going to linger not just today, but really into Thursday, as we are expecting several rounds of storms and ample Gulf moisture being pulled around this low pressure center into the region. So here's a look at the storm reports we've had over the last 24 hours. Early this morning, it was mainly just West Texas. So these are from storms that have been developing over the last 6-8 hours or so. So you can see the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, some hail reports, and even Houston, a few hail reports as well. So with all of the moisture we've had over the last week, the soil in this region is extremely saturated. So even if we have 2 inches of rain, we could have localized flooding. So rivers, creeks, and streams are running on the swollen side, and it's going to be hard for metro areas to have the infrastructure to compensate for all of this moisture. So it's not going to be absorbing into the soil because there's too much moisture there already. So that's going to be another big concern. But temperatures here throughout the day today: Oklahoma City 63 for your high, Dallas 71. So with the showers and storms, you're going to stay on the cooler side. But Houston 82, Corpus Christi 86, Brownsville 92. And dew points along this Gulf Coast are in the mid-70s. So tropical dew points. If you go outside, that's going to be air you can feel. It's like that instant sweat when you step out into dew points that high. So that's also fueling these storms, and that's why we do have these storms kind of building across South Texas as that moisture wraps around the low. So the severe weather outlook for the day today does impact most of Texas, but we're seeing it stretch farther and farther to the east. So as the environment becomes more conducive for those storms. Now, Wednesday, it stays isolated from Houston back down towards Corpus Christi into San Antonio. So Wednesday afternoon, it is just going to be those areas, but still areas that were hit pretty hard throughout the day today. So significant hail for Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, back towards the Panhandle, and we could have an EF2 or stronger tornadoes with these cells for Houston all the way up towards Waco, even into Austin. So we have a lot of the ingredients for these storms to get very, very aggressive and bring out a good amount of moisture. So that low will continue to move across the region, and we'll have several pushes of widespread rain for the south central and the southeast. So I hope you have your rain boots, your umbrella, and your jacket handy, because areas like New Orleans, you're definitely going to need it. Expecting up to 8 inches of rain this week. Could have some isolated spots up to 12. Want to take you up to the north, check in with Taban with what's going on in the north central.
Wow, this almost doesn't look real. Iowa City, Iowa, a beautiful drone shot here from Monday. Gorgeous conditions. Look at how green everything is. Look how beautiful those skies are. We have been tracking overall quieter conditions across the north central tier of the country compared to what's happening farther south. But we do have some cooling off temperatures, and we do have some showers to talk about. Grand Rapids, Detroit, Fort Wayne. You're seeing some rainfall out there for the day today. Temps will be a little bit cooler in the 60s, but look at behind here. La Crosse, Minneapolis, temps for you going to be in the 80s. You've got the shower that'll wrap up by this afternoon. Front sweeps through. That'll keep temperatures on the cooler end for these spots, but overall going to be a little bit drier. You're looking at the bulk of the rainfall still left over for Michigan. But aside from that, many of us are staying really quiet on the precip front. Chicago, Illinois, 67 is your typical high. Today you're in the low 70s, so you are going to be seeing temperatures a little bit warmer than average, but that front sweeps through. That'll bring our temps to the 60s and even 50s this week. Taking you down into the northern plains, 82 in Sioux Falls today. 83 in La Crosse. You've got some showers out towards Rapid City and Scottsbluff up through Miles City. A little bit of a breeze up into Fargo, temps closer to 70 degrees. Not a lot of precip here. The best chances for precip will be down into Nebraska over the next couple of days, as well as Iowa. You'll see a little bit of accumulating rain out of this, but nothing that's going to be of too much concern or hinder too many of your plans. Bismarck, North Dakota, look at those temperatures. 64 today, jumping to 80 as we go into Thursday. This weekend, high 70s and high 80s are going to be in store. So we'll be watching that forecast. Des Moines, Iowa, you've got 76 to 79, 80s as we head into the weekend. And our last stop brings us down to the Central Plains. This is where the bulk of the rainfall and the moisture will be over the next couple of days through this afternoon and evening. Kansas through Missouri, got some showers we'll be tracking out. Those linger in through Kansas as we continue into Wednesday morning. Bit more of that moisture through Missouri as we continue through Wednesday afternoon and even into the evening and overnight hours, leading to about 1 to 2 inches of rain. You could see some isolated pockets closer to 3. The spots we'll have to watch out for are southern Missouri, where things are pretty well saturated, but the most of us could use some good rainfall, especially out into central parts of Kansas, and it looks like you'll get at least some moisture on the way. Temperatures here for the region going to be around the 70s for the day today.
Welcome to a new season of Martha Cooks. Delicious food, delightful guests, and lots of fun. Good food, good friends, and good times. Bon appetit. Watch free on the Roku channel.
To murder your own mother reflects a particularly callous and depraved individual.
He was not my brother. He was a monster.
Once you've taken someone, you either kill them or you get caught.
He's just pure evil.
Food, wine, we shall be most costly.
The killer on the premises.
That was an accident.
No, it was not an accident, my love.
Inspector, it's not what it seems.
I find your accusations contemptible.
There is the greatest of danger. I think someone's going to die.
You've had taste made in the palm of your hand. Now we're in your home, where the struggle becomes your victory.
It's pretty freaking delicious.
Now we're everywhere you need to be, where taste is made. Taste made.
We take you out to Fresno, Texas. Monday's views of hail coming down, ripping the leaves off the trees here in Texas, and that's some pretty large hail coming.
I mean, that's as soon as you know it's big, it's ripping the leaves off, and it makes it look, I don't know, 10 times worse. Upper Creek Lake, as we got into Texas on Monday again, hail was easy to find. It was coating the ground there. You can see it just bouncing, kind of like marbles, I guess, on a hard surface in the Lone Star State. So, you know, we've seen a lot of this, not just in Texas, but even internationally.
Yeah.
There's France.
I mean, this was the most fascinating, I think, because it's such a rare event to see this kind of a hailstorm in Paris. I mean, I saw videos of just shattered windows in the middle of the city, and it's, I mean, you see it in Paris, Texas, but I mean, Paris, France is quite unique.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're talking about some big hailstone. You can see the limbs coming down there, the leaves as well, as we got into your Saturday. So it ain't just us. I don't know if misery loves company there in the Southern Plains.
It might be that, and it just feels like, I mean, this season so far, we've seen a lot of hail, and not just small hail, a lot of large hailstones too.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, 4 to 5 inches with some of these hailstones. And, you know, you think about the time of year, we've got a lot of cold air aloft, so hail can be a little bit easier to come by, I guess, but shouldn't be that surprising. We've got more severe chances in us as we get into this afternoon. But yeah, Paris, that was incredible coming out this weekend.
Yeah, it was. And as we continue to talk about more hail chances, well, we've got a lot of other chances too. We've got tornado threats, strong damaging winds, and heavy flooding rain. I mean, Dallas, Texas, one of those spots where the flooding rain is also going to be problematic.
Yeah, and we've seen, you know, a couple of rumbles of thunder out there as we've gone into much of this morning, and seen not just that, but some heavy rainfall at times coming down as we've gotten into this morning as well. So keep that in mind. The flooding threat is going to be a serious one. We've already seen some decent size hail. This is just since midnight this morning.
Yeah, a lot of 1 inch in diameter hailstones. That's already severe threshold hail, but we could even spots where we can see significant hail, which is 2 inches in diameter.
Yeah, we got to watch out places around Austin, getting into the capital itself. There's the I-35 corridor, I-10, as we get into San Antonio. I think for the most part, we may have to watch some of these storms over the next couple of hours, but we should be able to kick them out. Tomorrow morning's looking a little bit interesting. Might be a little bit rowdy down south.
Yeah, I mean, this is 2 o'clock this afternoon, Bryan College Station, I-45. Thunderstorms are going to be around, and then you'll see a little bit of a clearing as we head into the evening hours.
Yeah, we're watching those things pretty closely into northeast Texas here as we speak. And Houston is the interesting one.
Yeah.
This far south, I think we've got maybe 3 decent rounds of severe chances in this.
Yeah, it's not just kind of like, hey, 1 round passes and you're done for the day.
Yeah.
Well, then we go back into Tuesday night, couple other thunderstorms possible. Wednesday morning, still looking at more storms possible there in Houston.
Yeah, and just as widespread as some of this rainfall is, we got to watch out for that flooding threat. We know how big of a problem it is here in East Texas. But, you know, hail's going to be the big form of severe weather that we could see. How does it form?
Yeah.
Here's Patrick Crawford.
Hail is consistently one of the costliest parts of a thunderstorm, doing billions of dollars in agricultural and residential damage every year.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
As a thunderstorm develops, a rapidly rising column of air known as an updraft forms. In powerful, rotating supercell thunderstorm updrafts, hail is most likely to take shape. Raindrops get carried by the updraft into colder parts of the atmosphere, causing them to freeze into balls of ice. The hailstones grow as they are tossed around in the storm. A more unstable atmosphere will create a stronger updraft, keeping the hailstone in the colder air for longer and allowing the stone to grow. Once the weight of the hail becomes too much for the updraft, it falls to the surface. Estimates on the speed of a falling hailstone vary. But we'll put it like this. If baseball-sized hail is coming at you, you might as well be standing in the Major League batter's box. A 70 to 90 mile-per-hour fastball won't just smash your windshield. Texas, Kansas, and Nebraska get the most hail on average. For Weather Nation, I'm meteorologist Patrick Crawford.
And as we take you to Pennsylvania, up into the northeast, we've been tracking some strong storms in this direction as well. And, well, believe it or not, hail has been another problem as we look up into the northeast. Some cities have seen 1 to 1.75 inch size hailstone from Monday in North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia. Not the only thing that we tracked, but one of the bigger concerns was the hail along with those strong winds. Today, we still have severe storms possible in the northeast, clipping through central to eastern Pennsylvania, up through New York, stretching in through New Jersey, Philadelphia, Albany, Syracuse included in that risk, where strong winds are going to be our primary threat, but you still have the threat to see some larger hailstones there as well as we continue through the day. Now, looking at the forecast timeline, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this afternoon, this is what Viper radar is expecting to look like. Thunderstorms will be present. You'll continue to watch storms through the 7 o'clock hour. Look at that low, kind of wrapping back that moisture up into Pennsylvania. So even if you're kind of done with some of the afternoon storms, you could still see some more storms heading into the evening and overnight hours, waking up to some showers for New York City. And some of these areas will see enough rain where we're watching the flooding potential. So that's extended all the way out to Watertown, Ithaca, New York, stretching through Springfield, Massachusetts, where isolated flooding threats with your Weather Prediction Center outlook are in place. Now, it's not like we're expecting soaking heavy showers, but a couple inches in a very quick span of time, that is enough to create a flooding concern, and that's what we're dealing with here.
Northwestern Lancaster County in south central Pennsylvania, Lebanon County in south central Pennsylvania, until 1:30 p.m. At 12:46 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Cornwall, moving north at 40 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Lancaster, Lebanon, Lidditz, Mount Joy, Palmyra, Manheim, Andover, East Petersburg, Cornwall, Myerstown, Toowoomba and Landisville, and Campbelltown. This includes the following interstates: the Pennsylvania Turnpike from mile markers 259 to 278. Interstate 78 from mile markers 0 to 8. Interstate 81 from mile markers 85 to 95. Stay inside a well-built structure and keep away from windows. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 1:30 p.m. for the following counties: Lancaster and Lebanon.
Make your point. They understand your position. And yet nothing changes.
Is ridiculous. Your age. It's too small.
Start you out in Portland, Oregon. Always the easiest. I don't know why Portland, Oregon is such a tongue twister for me. The Willamette River Valley. Another one that can be a little bit tough to pronounce. Gorgeous. Little warm, but gorgeous. Other than that, here as we get into the coastal areas, it's toasty by this afternoon. We're going to be talking more about that warm weather, especially once we get a little closer to this weekend. Do have a little snow left over. I mean, we have plenty into Montana, back toward Idaho, almost a foot in some spots on some of those higher mountain peaks. And of course, you could kind of imagine or assume as we get into Wyoming back toward Montana. We got cold air out there, even cooler than what we were talking about this time yesterday. A little leftover snowfall, at least to clear out of here as we get into the rest of this afternoon. More so tonight. I think we can get rid of it. Not the rain chances as a whole. As we get into tonight, tomorrow, still looking out for the southeastern side of Wyoming. A weak little wave looks like it's going to move in, so we'll have to watch that thing by Thursday. Might stir up some trouble into the afternoon hours. If you're around Billings, might be looking out for maybe a hailstone or two. As far as additional snowfall, it's pretty much over as far as anything tacking on top. But we could pick up an inch or two of some of that rainfall in some spots. I think most of us stay underneath that, though, going forward. So that leaves us at 39 degrees and fairly breezy into Casper. That looks miserable for your afternoon hours. 25 to 30 mile per hour winds into Rock Springs. So it's going to be fairly breezy. Any of that snow that might still be down there, again, it's fairly wet, fairly heavy, so it may not be blowing around quite as much as it might have been otherwise. As we, if this storm system comes through in January and February, we might be in a whole host of other troubles. Overnight lows dip down to about the freezing mark. That's about as bad as it gets, and then we bounce back like we're on a trampoline. 74 degrees into Billings. Jackson looking at 64 as we roll through our Wednesday. You thought that was warm. Look at this weekend. 76 degrees here. We got you at as we towards Saturday. 74 degrees there as we get into the day before Mother's Day as well. 78 today, though. That's what we're talking about into Seattle. Knocking on the door of 80 degrees, which, is a little warmer than it should be for this time of year, really any time of year, but for this time of year, 15 to 20 degrees above average. Here comes a cold front, though, as we get into tonight. Late tonight into tomorrow, it kind of runs out of moisture, so it's not really going to bring us a ton necessarily of rainfall, and it's moving pretty quickly as we get into your Wednesday. What it will deliver, brief cool down, or at least kind of, reset the scale, kind of balance things out as we roll through Wednesday and Thursday, back down to the low to mid 60s. And then we start picking things up again from there. Seattle getting near 70 degrees by this weekend. Knocking on the door of 80 degrees. Think we get there. We get into Saturday towards Sunday in Spokane. And looking close to 80 degrees there as well as we go forward. Let's get you a little further south, though, where 80 degrees is it's a godsend. But unfortunately, the cool weather meant it was coming with some storms in Phoenix on Sunday, Tracy.
Yeah, the temperature in Phoenix has done kind of a 180 since Saturday. On Saturday, temperatures were in the upper 90s, and then we've continued to just dial back as we've had more rain and more cloud cover impacting the area with that low just churning. But the good news is, well, I'm sure this is the good news with temperatures down in the 70s, a good 20 degrees below average, but we will be warming up. So we're going to be back in the triple digits for the weekend this weekend. So hopefully you have enjoyed the cooler temperatures because it's not going to last too much longer. So, hopefully you gave the AC just a little bit of a break there. Now, temperature-wise, really across the region, we're trending below average. And we are going to have more widespread rain and storm chances over the next couple of afternoons. And we're still tracking that high elevation snow across parts of Colorado and into areas of Utah. So we will have some Gulf moisture working in across the Front Range, and that's why those winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories are still in place. Now, areas like Vegas, you've had 3 days with record-breaking rain, so breaking daily rainfall records. And we've had a significant amount of rain just since this month began. So we're almost to an inch. And for the year, typically, we're only at about an inch. So we're definitely kind of right on par where we should be. So this upper level low is still going to linger over the next couple of days. And that's what's going to keep those afternoon storm chances in place. So temperature-wise, as I mentioned, we're below average. Phoenix, you are close to 20 degrees below normal. Even Denver, you're below average. And Salt Lake City, you are also trending a good 10 degrees below normal. So that is going to be kind of the story. We are all going to feel that warm-up trend, though, into the end of the week. So with that moisture still lingering for the afternoon today, we do have general thunderstorm risk that is in place. So we're not expecting severe weather, but